So my personal favorite, I love pineapple like you, Richard. So I do the Aloha. Put a little Cajun crust on it, spice it up a little bit. But yeah, it's got chicken, bacon, pineapple, and then barbecue sauce. So it's not a normal pizza sauce pizza, but yeah, you got to think outside of it a little bit. I've been with Jets since I was 15 years old. So I've basically been doing this for almost, over half my life. Started taking the counter back when credit cards were a rarity, and now it's like every person has a credit card. So kind of an interesting thing to see like the whole process and evolution of like pizza and just in general like restaurant business and how everything has gone to more of like we barely hear the phone ring anymore because it's all online ordering or text ordering. So it's kind of a transition away from what was 20 years ago, just everybody calling in, ordering, and then now we're just here looking at each other, seeing tickets pop up. It's kind of fun.
Where do you see yourself going from here?
So I mean, I love Jets. I love the product. I love everything about it. I would love to just keep doing this, keep training people and creating the next, GM or creating the next model to go by for what our franchise would love to continue on. After seeing like the evolution over the past 20 years, I'm excited to see where we're going to go in the next 20. So I'm here for it, and I kind of just, hope I'm a part of the plan and progress with it.
Kirsten, how about you?
Oh, okay. So I am an Austinite. I've lived here my whole life, and I started working at Jets when I was 17, super young, like Eric. Oh, I forgot to say my favorite pizza. My bad. My favorite pizza is just the pepperoni and bold pepperoni. That's it on the deep dish with extra sauce. But yeah, I've just worked at Jets since I was 17. I started as a delivery driver, so I didn't really work inside at first. I was just taking deliveries. It was just like a job to kind of get me through college for like the first year. And then I started working inside, and I would do like 50% inside, 50% driving. And then eventually I just completely switched to inside, and I started like managing slowly and doing stuff. My boss, George, was like my role model. I thought he was the coolest person ever. And I really liked how he ran his business, and I just like really admired that. And so as I kept going through college, I started to he gave me more responsibilities. I was making the schedule and stuff and doing ordering and helping him hire and fire people. And it was really awesome. It was super cool because I was taking classes in business and working at Jets. So it was very I was able to relate a lot of stuff and get a lot of real life examples. So then I graduated in 2023, and then I opened my store like a year later, and it was just a really cool experience. I had a lot of help from these guys, and I've enjoyed it. I love working for Jets. I like being a leader and getting to work with my staff and train, and I hope I keep getting to help open more stores. So sums it up.
Great.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Chicago, went to college out in Arizona, and then started in a sales job out in California in 2000. And it's a company called Nadel. So we manufacture promotional products. We're about 35 offices around the world. We're in 5 countries and stuff like that. So it's a pretty awesome experience. I've learned so much doing that over the years. I'm still in it. We, a part of several partnership, kind of bought part of that out, and I was moved back home to Chicago, built a couple offices out here, and then one crazy day, one of my high school buddies was like, "Hey, we should start a restaurant," and I'm like, "Well, the last time we worked at a restaurant together, we both were fired on the same day, which was Burger King. We were like 14 years old." So like, this probably isn't really a good idea. And we started looking more and more into it. And then we found kind of like this whole franchise model. And I was in Michigan, and my wife actually introduced me to Jets, and she was like, "Oh my God, this is a great pizza place here." And I'm like, "I'm from Chicago, like Detroit doesn't have good pizza, whatever." And we had it at the house, and I'm like, "This is amazing." And we went and visited with them, and the family was like super cool and like just really honest, and just took a kinship to them immediately. And we opened, I'm like, I want to do downtown Chicago. And Eugene, the founder at the time, he's since passed away, but he was like, no one goes into the big cities, like we do suburbs. And I'm like, well, we're doing Chicago because I don't want to drive out to the suburbs. So he's like, whatever. And finally, like, I had to convince him, which was crazy. And then we opened the first one, and like the night before, it was like one of those zombie movies, because like the phone kept ringing, and it was like hundreds and hundreds of phone calls. And the next day, it blew up. We opened up the next day, and like literally, I'd be way richer if we had like a reality show based on the first couple months of opening this thing, because if we had a mistake to make, we made it, and we doubled down on it. So it was a really fun experience, and learned a lot. And then we opened a couple more. And then we kind of installed like a new leadership team, which basically saved our hides. Eric was part of that, and several other guys. And yeah, it just started growing. So I mean, that's kind of how that story went.
I've definitely experienced the dynamics of the startup world, but what I have not experienced is a ramp up of a brand new franchise. What can you walk me through what a grand opening looks like from, say, the months prior all the way up until the 11th hour and opening day?
I mean, Eric, you can walk through that. We just opened 2 of them, so
yeah,
we got
you just did
part of
that,
it.
Eric.
Yeah, right. It can be quite chaotic, especially when you're dealing with all of the permitting and trying to build everything out. There's always going to be delays. You're always going to try to hire people, and then you're losing people, you're training people, and then all of a sudden they're jumping ship. So it's really about getting the right people and having them be on board. And then also the time frames, or trying to make sure that the city, or whichever city it is, that they have everything in order, and that they're not really that they're on board with us opening the pizza place too, because sometimes they'll just delay for what seems like no reason at all. So that's one of the big things. And then especially during COVID, when we were opening up stores, we were running out of materials because nothing was being produced, or nothing was being produced fast enough. So that was kind of a little hiccup there. But yeah, I mean, you just really have to make sure that you get the right people in, and make sure that the whole first couple weeks is as smooth as it can be. I know that sometimes stores are open up busier than others, so you got to expect for maybe a busier opening, and adjust if it's slower.
Yeah, and every business being a people business, what you said about onboarding people, the right people at the right time, this seems like a logistical nightmare to me. Now, I know you faced it before. So how do you navigate recruiting people, filtering through that recruitment list, and then retaining them through delays? Like, do you have to start paying them early before you even open? How do you keep their attention all the way until the doors open?
One of the biggest things here now in Austin is that we have several stores that people are able to go to and work. So like when Kirsten first opened, she had, several people working at the Brody location, which was close to hers. And I don't
Yeah,
know if
I
you
was
want to
able to
touch on that.
train there. Yeah, I was able to I actually, when I opened, summers were usually slower, and I opened last August. So I was able to like hire some people for the Brody store. And then I took some more like seasoned, well-trained employees to my store. I took 2 insiders and 2 drivers. So I know Eric used his location to train out of. we all just, it's like really nice now that we all have each other to lean on and support for that, because we can also, like, let's say Eric was super busy one night and needed help, or like, you know, something happened with his staff. I mean, it's life. People get sick and stuff, whatever. We can send, you know, he can send it. We have a group chat and be like, hey, can you guys send a body over here? And we all are there for each other in that way. So that's nice. When it was just a couple stores, it was a lot harder for us to navigate that, but it's fun, easier as we've opened more locations.
Yeah. For instance, when our second location opened up, it was right in the middle of COVID, and half of my staff got COVID. So I'm scrambling. I'm texting George, say, hey, I need at least one person to come over to just help me through the week. So yeah, it's definitely good now that we have 7 stores open in Austin.
The key is to like add as many people as you can to like the payroll, and then just try and scale back as you find the right ones and the right people that fit, because you just don't, there's no formula for finding great people. I mean, just, it's really hard. Some people are good at some things. Some people are good at like customer service. Some people are good at, you know, really fast on the make line. Some people are, you know, great at just doing basic stuff. I mean, it's all over the place. So you got to kind of find the right person, put them in the right place. And sometimes those people don't fit. Sometimes people are, you know, are better in some cases. I mean, and they need to be elevated. So
Yeah, I think a lot of it also is, for me, I've had a lot of luck doing this recently, is I have people come in for like I call it like a training day, but it's especially if they're going to work inside, I want them to like see what we do. And if that's something, you know, they can work through a dinner rush and make sure that they like it before I like put them in the system and I start training them. Cause that always sucks, is when you start training someone for like a couple weeks and you feel like you're getting somewhere and then they don't like it and they just quit, and then you're kind of back to square one. So I find this little training day helps.
Is there a specific focus on culture in terms of employee culture and spreading that sense of the Jets family from corporate out into the extended branches? Or is it incumbent just on the ownership group to build your own kind of specific culture, maybe stacked on top of the Jets model? How does this work in the franchise world?
I feel like we're all pretty close in like my restaurant, and I think all of them are, you have your main group of staff that is like the people you rely on, right? Like, you know, you have your number 2, your AM manager, and then you have a couple closing managers. You might have like a head delivery driver, like people that you trust. And then there's obviously like we have high school kids that are coming in, and then you know, there's all different walks of life. And I know they have other priorities. So I think that's like super important, is to have that main group you can rely on, and try and just like, you know, I try and have like team meetings, and I give them like, we have lunch and we go over stuff for the, you know, what went on that month, what we have coming on next month, stuff we can work on, just kind of keep morale up. And then, you know, I've done like a bowling night. I know Eric's done a few like little group parties for his staff as well. But we all know each other. That's another thing. It's like, I know Eric's employees, and then, you know, I know the people at the Brody store. I like all our staff kind of know each other, which I do love. Like amongst 7 stores, we can still kind of all be a group.
I think the sense of family comes in, like, how do you take care of your family, right? I think that's the most important part. I mean, like, I look at my parents, who both came from different countries, and they're like, you know, they came here because they wanted to take care of their families. They wanted a better life, right? So I think there's an opportunity in some cases, and I'll give you one example. We had an amazing person here in Chicago. When he first started, he was in a gang, and probably not the best thing in the world. He drove for us for many years, and Eric helped train and mold him as over the years. And then he moved out to Austin with us. Now he's doing his own store, and the kid's making like a ton of money. So he moved his whole family out here. He got a better life. I mean, there's lots of those stories in this group. So I mean, it's about like, how can we take care of each other? And I think the greatest part about this country, just watching my parents go through it over the years, is like they were allowed to rise to a certain status and a rise to a certain thing to be able to take care of their kids and watch them go through college and watch them go do things that they couldn't do. And, you know, I hope the same for this group. I mean, there's a lot of people having kids in this group, and, you know, to be able to afford things. And as we grow, hopefully we can all make more money. And, but it comes down to the fact that, like, you know, things aren't easy. I mean, I've shut down businesses. I've done, you know, there's been a lot of things that didn't work. I've watched my parents struggle through hard times. They weren't COVID, but we got, you know, our stores were robbed when I was a kid multiple times and burned down, and, you know, stuff that just really was painful. And, you know, we've got a really good thing going here, and it's got a great system. And I think those things are rare. I mean, if you look at like average businesses, they're doing $1 million. To get to $1 million is hard. I mean, it's really hard. I mean, if you start something from scratch, like if you started, you know, Richard's coffee shop in Austin, and I mean, to get to $1 million, you probably really find it to be difficult. So, I mean, most of our stores are starting there or getting above there, and it's a pretty awesome system. And sometimes you're in it long enough and you take it for granted, you know. It's like, and sometimes I look at it and I'm like, wow, this is truly a special place to be. And, you know, I've owned 4 franchises at this point, different brands, and it's like, this one's pretty special. And you know, I'm just honored to be a part of it, and it's a great team. And it's also like, you know, I mean, these guys struggle a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people like trying to keep everyone together and trying to keep people showing up, and I mean, that's just a really hard job to do. So, I mean, doing a lot of the fun things and like making it like a part of a family, and like going out and, you know, maybe staying on 6th Street for too long, too late, is probably not the best idea sometimes. But, you know, sometimes it's also fun, and like just enjoying each other and just hanging out.
I think being a GM, you just have to, or, you know, in an owner position, you really have to have like empathy that all your employees have a life that they're going on and have so much stuff. We are not necessarily their number one priority. I mean, the store is our number one priority, but it's not theirs. And I think that you have to kind of take that in consideration too.
Yeah, and there's ownership opportunities too. So if you're like starting in a
Mhm.
store with us, like you can advance. And in some cases, like, you know, people have started off in whole new territories. Eric's one of them. Doug, our managing partner out in Nevada, is another one. So they're getting a sizable chunk of the equity of the store, and, you know, it's a pretty awesome thing if you work hard and do well at it. I mean, this thing sells. I mean, if you make the product right, and you advertise and you take care of your customers, I mean, the sky's really the limit, honestly. I mean, there's stores doing 40, 50,000 a week in Montana. So, I mean, that's insane, right? So you can really do great things with this thing.